Lot number 97, 1979 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Matching numbers 403 with an automatic transmission, candy apple red metallic paint, camel vinyl interior, T-top car, power windows, power locks, and again, factory air conditioning.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Jakes. I work for Jim Murphy and Muscle Car Appraisal. I'm the guy in the back room directing and trying to do a good job for Jim. I want to thank you for being our subscribers. Recently, Jim Murphy, myself, and my wife Sharon were invited to attend the Barrett-Jackson Auctions in Connecticut, which were held at Mohegan Sun Casino back in June, on Thursday, June 27th. We were invited by Dan Stanavage, who's a recent past New England championship auctioneer. He's a very active member with the National Auctioneers Association, and he's an auto auctioneer, a charity auctioneer, and he does restaurant equipment auctions. So Dan and Jim Murphy invited my wife and I to go down for the day at the Barrett-Jackson Auctions, and we had a ball. We obtained VIP passes from the Valenti Auto Group. I'd like to thank the Valenti Auto Group for giving those passes for us. We were able to go all over the auction. In the back, seeing the cars being set up, it was wonderful. I even got to meet some of the Barrett-Jackson Auctioneers who Dan knew through the National Auctioneers Association. That was wonderful. Also, at the same time, I would like to thank the Ford Motor Company who provided Valenti Auto Group with those VIP passes. Jim was able to get VIP bidder passes. He was able to stand on the stage while the auction was going on and bid on behalf of his customers on cars right there on the stage. So Jim represented customers who wanted him to inspect cars, appraise cars, and in some cases do the bidding for them if they were out of state or they felt that Jim could do better for them. So it was an amazing experience. I've heard about all kinds of stories from Jim Murphy about his experiences on the road, but my wife and I were actually able to see it. So once again, thank you to Valenti Auto Group, thank you Ford Motor Company, and thanks Dan Stanavage for opening many doors for us. It was an awesome day. So now, before I forget, Jim Murphy had asked me to also thank Adesa. Adesa supplied the food, the gourmet food, at the VIP section of the auction, and Jim said it was awesome. So Mohegan Sun did a great job too. A great venue to hold the Barrett-Jackson Northeast car auctions. So moving on with our video tonight, I have two more segments coming up of the actual auctions going on. One is for a 1976 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. I was right there in the front watching that sell. It was amazing. And the other one is a specialty item. At some of these classic car auctions, they also have farm equipment, tractors for farms. They had a John Deere 1945 John Deere H-Row crop tractor, a big part of American history. And I felt, because we have so many homesteaders and farmers who are our subscribers, I was thinking about Farm All Fanatic, who's done a great job in the YouTube community and has helped us a lot, and also my friend at Deer Park Farmstead. So when I saw that tractor being auctioned, I said, I gotta tape this for my farming and homesteading friends and subscribers. So you'll have two more auction sections coming up within this video. Jim Murphy also did two auto reviews, one on a 1964 and a half Mustang, and the other on an Impala, so a 1979 Impala. So there'll be two videos, one on a 1964 and a half Mustang and a 79 Impala that Jim has made a part of this video, and there'll be two live auction from that day at the Barrett-Jackson. Thank you, everybody. hashtag Barrett-Jackson, hashtag Mohegan Sun. Thank you everybody for inviting us to a wonderful experience down at Mohegan Sun, and I hope to go back someday again. Have a great day. Enjoy our premiere tonight.
Lot number 96, 1976 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, title in transit. It's got a 400 cubic inch engine with an automatic transmission. It's got the special edition package, original Starlight black paint, gold trim, factory air conditioning, TJ.
Yep.
Sound, a 1.6-liter two-cylinder, this time made into a 3-speed manual transmission. This is a tractor that represents a piece of John Deere history, agricultural history, really. If you have, Steve, if you have a chance to buy an antique tractor like this, more and more across the country, parades, festivals, getting the family involved. It's not always just classic classic cars can be classic tractors that are a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We've been talking about these incredible tractors, folks. Just think about what it costs to restore one of these things. This is an absolute piece of history, restored just like a piece of jewelry. A piece of jewelry and agriculture doesn't necessarily go together, but there's some guys paying attention. That's going to be a great addition to any collection, believe me.
Roger, 8,000 on it.
Okay, let's look at a very early 1965 Mustang, aka 64.5 Mustang. 64.5 is a name given by enthusiasts rather than the factory. These cars were built early in the production year, were available on April 17th, I believe, which is very early compared to a normal September availability of a model year vehicle back in the 60s. So there were some updates after these very early cars were produced, and let's show you some of the changes. What we're going to show you in this particular segment is what is specific to a very early, we're just going to call it a 64.5. Even though the vehicle identification number has the number 5 for 1965, we're going to just stick with 64.5 on this car. So let's look at some of the things that were specific to 64.5. The easiest thing to identify an early car versus a later car, even if the hood is closed, is peek through the grill here or over there and see if you see a horn, the one that goes beep beep. The early cars had the horns down here, mounted on the frame rail, and they were huge. Actually, I'm not sure that that horn is exactly correct, but it is in the right location. And then there's another one over there on the right frame rail. So the horns were down there. In 65, the cars that started production in August had the horns over here on the front of the radiator support. The 64.5s had a generator over here. 65 had an alternator. The voltage regulator is different between the two. They're both mounted over here. 64.5s had some problems with the wiring shorting out against the radiator support. That situation was corrected. The single reservoir master cylinder, not a lot of light in this parking garage, but okay, we can see it there, has a brake light switch mounted. Let's see if we clean this up a little bit for you. There we go. I don't know why it gets really grainy, but here's the master cylinder, single reservoir, and there's a brake light switch mounted right in the front. They got rid of that, moved the switch inside against the pedal for 65. That's another one of the differences. This engine is 260 cubic inches. 65 had 289. There were horsepower differences as well. Another thing on some of the early cars, this edge of the hood was not properly rolled. And what it did was, it had an interference issue with this bezel here. This one, as you can see, has a bevel put in it here. What the issue was because those hoods up there were not rolled, when you shut the hood, it would hit this bezel over here. So rather than fix the hood, Ford remade these bezels with a bevel so the hood could close. They made so many parts. There were hoods properly rolled, but with the old style bezel. And then there's cars, obviously, with a proper bezel where this area was flat straight across with a properly rolled hood. You're really not going to find a flat bezel with an unrolled hood because simply you just can't close the hood. Well, let's see. Inside the car, on the dashboard, the warning light, the early car is going to say GEN for generator, and the later car is going to say ALT for alternator. Let's see, down there, you have, let's see, over there, I know it gets blurry, but there's the letter A on that air knob for a vent. Let's see if I can get that a little better. It's down there, and it's got a white letter A on it. The early cars had the A, the later cars did not. Power steering, that's going to be a difficult one to explain because this car does not have power steering. But the power steering units, the pump and the reservoir, were different between the early and later cars. And there's a couple other minor things, but that's a majority of the major items that are different between the early and late cars. And again, the fastest way to tell, no matter where you are, is just simply look through the grill here and see if you see a horn that goes beep beep. If not, more than likely it's an early car, aka 64.5. Well, let's see what they got for specs on this. It's got the original 260, the original manual transmission. It's been restored, original color, AM radio, rally pack, padded visors, backup lamps, fog lamps, dual exhaust, redline tires. Contact Phil at bundyauto.com. I'm familiar with that shop. They're located in Connecticut. It's been quite a while, but I've been there. Not surprised that this is a nice car. Bundy Motors has been doing quality work for many, many years. So there you have it, folks. Quick and simple, down and dirty. Some very obvious things to show you the difference between an early April to July car versus a later car that started production in August. So the car was available in September. Nice black interior. Nice paint, properly sanded and buffed. Let's take a quick peek in the trunk. It's got a mat, spare tire. The car was covered up, probably did that at night. Trunk lid hinges work quite nicely. Factory quarter panel, you can see the stampings here. The stamping plant. Put those numbers in there so you could identify where the sheet metal is coming from. Oh, and there's a whole bunch of other things on these Mustangs. Vehicle identification number is here on the inner fender. Just a whole bunch of cool things about these cars. This car happens to be a GT. You see the driving lights or fog lights there. Let's see what the exhaust looks like out back. Not a GT car, just a car with optional fog lights. Maybe that's why it says it on the sandwich board up front. Got the rally pack. See a couple gauges mounted to the steering column. You got a clock and a tachometer. You have fuel gauge over there. You have amp meter up on the dash. Dash is not cracked. Sure, it's got a black convertible top. Looks like an original weather strip here. And actually the inner on the front door is the door, left side as well. Cool car, nice piece. Should be a 3-speed. Sure enough it is. You can tell by the code. It's on the sandwich board up front that it's a 3-speed. Very common in the early cars. So another nice piece ready to go off here at the Barrett-Jackson auction at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. Thanks for watching. I'll hunt down a 65 to show you placement of the horns and some other things. So I'll be on my way hunting down a 65. Thank you for watching. Be back soon. Here we have a 1994 Impala SS. This was a 3-year run for this car on a Caprice chassis, police suspension, big wheels, tires, 12.1-inch rotors on all 4 corners. This car is pretty much original with the exception of the hood. In 1994, you can always tell them because it's a 1-year only deal. The side view mirror is mounted on the door skin. In 95 and 96, they moved them up here to the corner. So that is going to be your immediate telltale sign between 94, 95, or 6. 94 is the only one with the window down on the door skin. Wheels were the same all 3 years. 94, they were all in black. 95, they added additional colors. And then in 96, they added a console with shifter on the floor. Prior to that, for 94, 95, they were all column mounted shift. And 96, they also added a tachometer, which was previously not available in 94, 95. This is a high mileage car, but it's all there. It looks fairly decent. Obviously somebody tinted the windows. Got some dust on the windshield and good reflections on the deep tinted windows. For 1994, this car actually ran quite well. Fantastic highway car. This car was more comfortable doing 90 miles an hour down the road than it was doing 55 to 65. And that's literal. I owned one and piled on a number of miles on the highway, and it was an absolutely fantastic highway car. Getting noisy here in the garage, so we're gonna cut it short on this car. But again, now you got some information about how to identify 94 right off the bat.
Muscle Car Appraisal thanks you for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like our video and hit the bell notification. And once again, we thank you for looking at our video. Have a great day.